So my name is Gall. I'm director at KA, which is a Brussels-based consultancy specialized in culture and creative industries. So we advise on culture, creative industries policies across Europe. We've got different roles in the project, but our core, let's say, added value in the project is really around, let's say, capturing the knowledge generated in the project and turning that into policy advice, policy recommendations, and trying to make sure that the findings of the project are adopted at different levels, be it local level, national level, or European level. So overall, the idea is to make sure that whatever we develop in the project can be, to some extent, translated into real policy making, and overall to improve the way we sort of design policies for culture, but also for social impact. So to really have this discussion going on between the societal role of culture and the impacts it generates for our society. The whole question about culture and social impacts, measuring them accurately is very challenging, and that's the premises of MESOC. And finding solutions, finding something that can be used both by policymakers but also by the cultural and creative sectors themselves is really what I expect from the project. To find something that we can use and that can potentially have a transforming effect on the way we sort of conceive cultural policies, the way we let's say, work also with cultural operators, because very often the issue is that we are asking cultural operators to generate economic, social impacts, but we are sort of leaving them very little guidance and very little advice on how to do that. So finding out about policies that can help them in this process, that can nurture this energy is what I would like to do in this project. So any promising sort of first results? Well, I think that even the conceptual framework itself, well, it's challenging, it's taking time to find the right approach, but even the reflection around that is already quite useful to sort of think of how we can ourselves then apply that sort of knowledge within cultural organizations, within policy-making spaces. That's already interesting to look at. The other element is that, of course, what we are seeing gradually in the project are solutions emerging that can be quite practically used. So we've got this AU culture platform, which potentially can be used by cultural operators themselves to assess the impacts of different events they organize. And that itself is quite promising. Of course, it requires testing, etc., but the concept of it is valuable already. We saw the first results of the MESOC toolkit, which is basically a tool that enables to compare policy documents to what other cities' governments are doing, and that could potentially be really a time saver for local authorities when designing their policies. There is often a need to look at what is going on somewhere else, and of course this toolkit can help them to really see other comparable policies, to really fine-tune their approach, and that potentially can be very useful for policymakers.